We're hearing a lot of nonsense from people who really are not in the forefront of the issue. The fact of the matter is I represent the Los Angeles port and right next door to Long Beach port. And we actually ship out, actually about 40 to 50% of all goods movement through the nation go through our ports in Los Angeles. PMA has been very blatant in their attempt to hold our ports hostage, to punish the workers who are there each and every day working hard in our community. And so what we have to do now is demand that PMA stop holding our ports hostage, get back to the bargaining table, ILWU Local 13, and come up with some resolution so that we can continue goods movement through our ports so that we cannot stop being a hindrance in the nation and putting our nation in its security and an economic risk. I didn't know that PMA was a Republican issue, and I didn't think that only Democrats work for ILWU. I'd like to believe that both Democrats and Republicans are interested in goods movement. I believe that Republicans and Democrats work for ILWU and some work for PMA. So it's not it is a partisan issue. It's a Californian issue. However, I believe that the blatant disrespect demonstrated by the PMA shows their unwillingness to work with ILWU and have called off many meetings with ILWU and as a result have closed and shut our ports down. This is an economic disaster. This is a safety issue for our community. It's an economic issue for our nation, and we must do something about it. This is a national issue, an international issue. But California, because these are our ports, we're going to we're going to be hit hardest on this issue, and it will impact our economy in California like none other. However, it would have a direct impact on the nation as well, and so that's why I'm here today to make sure that we continue to fight, urge PMA to get their butts back to the table and work out this agreement so we will not be a hindrance to the economy of our nation. I'm optimistic. We've overcome worse, haven't we? Right? And so I don't see why we can't overcome this. And I think that, and I believe in good faith that we will. But this latest action, however, to close our ports for 3 days on the president's birthday is just wrong and blatantly disrespectful, not only to the folks at ILWU, but to Californians, and a lack of respect for the nation as a whole, for all that these United States of America stands for. And I think the responsibility is on the folks that are making money on the backs of our workers, on the backs of our manufacturers, and that's the PMA. They need to be responsible and do their job and come back to the table and negotiate in fair dealing with ILWU Local 13. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Senator Isadore Hall, and I represent the 35th State Senate District, which includes the Port of Los Angeles. The continued closure of ports in my district and along the West Coast is not a partisan issue, it's a Californian issue. It's an economic security and national security issue. And I'm proud to stand with my fellow colleagues today calling for PMA and ILWU Local 13 to get back to negotiating tables and give ILWU Local 13 workers a fair and responsible contract. Enough is enough. And I also call on PMA to basically stop holding California's ports hostage. Reopen California's ports now. I am extremely concerned and disappointed in the PMA's latest and reckless and irresponsible decision to suspend activity at ports along the West Coast this President's weekend. California ports drive our state and our nation's economy. The Port of Los Angeles, which is in my district, the Port of Los Angeles, which is in my district, and the neighboring Port of Long Beach are the busiest ports in the United States of America. The goods that are imported and exported out of these two ports alone feed, clothe, and supply vital goods to people all over the country and throughout the world. The latest actions by PMA show a blatant and disregard for the workers who have built our California support system for small, medium, and large businesses across the country that rely on stable and reliable goods movement for the economic security that these ports provide to our nation. Instead of working constructively with ILWU Local 13 towards a fair and responsible labor contract, the PMA has chosen to unfairly penalize workers and have shown willingness to sacrifice the great economic recovery currently underway for their own economic benefit. The PMA has entered into a very dangerous and unnecessary game. California and the United States economic security is no game. It is essential to our national security and the economic well-being of nations and continents throughout the world. I demand that PMA reconsider its decision to suspend port activity this weekend, reopen our ports, re-enter into good faith negotiations with IOW Local 13, and stop being a barrier to California's economic recovery. And as my colleagues said, there are many people who depend on goods movement in our nation. We have employers behind here whose money is going to waste because there is no movement in our ports. And we need to get back to work. We need PMA to reconsider their decision to close our ports and put our workers back to work so goods movement can go back and start moving throughout our nation. Thank you very much.